UFC 308 is only 3 days away, and we are here with your parlay picks this time on.
David! 60 G's, baby!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the CPS Reports. This is As a Betting Man, and with me today, breaking down the card for UFC 308, I have with me my guy Al Nino, aka Babu.
Yes, sir.
Sorry for the noise.
I'm your
Put you
as a
off here.
betting man.
Oh,
As a
wait.
betting man.
So, like I said, Babu, it is UFC 308, and we are gonna have a look at some parlay picks. As I've discussed with you before we started, I do have a couple of picks locked in, but just before we get into that, maybe you could just kind of give us some general ideas of what the markets are saying regarding the card.
So from the card itself, looking at I'd say from the main event forward, it looks like a pick'em card because all the odds are not like amazing odds. Like especially if you experience better, you look for odds that are like greater than 3.5 because that's where you can get like decent money out of it, especially like when you put small amounts. Most of the card is like just close lines. Um, I think a lot of betting companies are looking at the card and not knowing like who's clear favorites. Um, Even like some of the favorites odds are decent and you can make decent money off it. But especially like this is a card where if you have money, you can double your money basically.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
the biggest one on the main card is Rakic, Rakic, Alexander
Rakic.
Rakic. Yeah, I
Uh,
think he's the biggest betting like dog on the squad, on the main card
he
at
is.
least.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to risk that, but otherwise, the squad looks like a pick'em card, man.
Yeah, agreed. And it takes a braver man than me to risk it on Alexander Rakic. So, I'm not gonna do anything with that. But yeah. So I think, yeah, I definitely agree there, Babu. I think this is kind of leaning more towards a parlay card. So yeah. Speaking of parlays, let's get into my selections here for the parlay. So like I said, we're just going to be well. So far, I've just kind of covered 3 fights. Um, to be honest with you, well, just before we get into this, Babu, what are your thoughts on Magomedov? He's supposed
I
to be
think he's
this major prospect, but
uh,
has he lived up to the hype so far for you, or what are your thoughts there?
uh, the bullet has too much hype behind it for the performances that I've seen thus far.
Mm.
Because I think like the hype behind the bullet is like, oh, this man should be finishing opponents. Yet
Yeah,
it's
he
easy.
was finishing the Oaks before he came to the UFC, but since the UFC, I think he's only got one finish.
Mm,
So
and it's not what you do on the undercard; it's what you do on the main card when your time is cool, isn't it?
mm, yeah,
Like
nah,
they
exactly.
putting him in the they putting him in the spotlight now. UFC is backing him and putting him on every card that is outside of the US and especially like to Dubai cards and stuff like that. And
Mm.
like so far, I can't say he's lived up to the hype, but hey man, we'll see what comes of this weekend.
Yeah, you think he wins this fight?
Um, are you asking as a betting man or
No, no, no.
as
I'm
a
just
fan?
asking in general. well, I mean, okay. So since this is the betting show, let me ask you, as a betting man, do you think he wins this fight?
As a betting man, I wouldn't put my money on him
Yeah,
just
yeah.
because of his skill set. I
Mm,
think that if you blanket him, then there goes my money
yeah.
because it's like
There's
he's
nothing he
gonna
can do.
lose. Yeah, if
Yeah.
this fight goes to decision, they take him down like twice in the fight. GG's, there goes my money.
Exactly, bro. So for me, bro, I'm gonna go with this fight to go the distance, just because, like we said, he hasn't really finished any Oaks since coming to the UFC. He hasn't really been that impressive. If there is a time when he's gonna kind of pull it off, it probably would be in Abu Dhabi, because there's gonna be a lot of support for him. He obviously feels very comfortable fighting there because most of his fights have taken place over there. So yeah, I'm gonna lock that in for that one to go the distance. Um, and then the other fight, I just want to look at quickly. Well, think let's do that as a separate one. Let's just go for more sure things. Yeah. The Alexander Rakic fight, I think Ankalaev is as much of an odds-on favorite as you can get on the card. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Rakic is the biggest dog on the card. So as far as sure things go, I'm pretty confident to lock that one in as well. Do you have any thoughts on that one, bro?
And I think that's just a safe bet. But
Mm,
when it comes to sport and safe bets,
it's a fight, bro.
ah,
At the end of the day, it's a
ah,
fight, so anything can happen. But yeah, we try to negate risk, and I think this is it's always going to be a risk. But as far as managing risk goes, I think this is
mm,
quite substantial. Yeah. So okay, fine. That's shot a bullet to go the distance. Ankalaev. The Dan Ige Murphy fight, I don't want to really bet on, unless there's some kind of insight you can give me here.
um, I I personally pick this fight as like if you're willing to take the risk, I'd go Dan Ige just because he
Mm,
does have that knockout power, and one of that shots can put you out. And we have through Dan Ige's fighting career in the UFC, like he does like have he does have the nickname of 50K, and there's a reason for that. And
mhm,
I'd say like if you want to risk it, as a betting person, I'd go eager to I'd go eager knockout, because the odds are
Sheesh, I
very
like
in
that.
favor. But there is a reason that the odds are in your favor there. But just know,
Mm,
I'd say I'd go Dan Ego knockout, because if it does it, if it
damn,
does
bro.
it, but
Yeah, having a
when
great
you
time.
play
Yeah,
that,
so I think let's come back to that one in a second. I really like that pick though. So yeah, let's come back to that in a second. Because I'm just trying to kind of lock in what I think is quite certain here. Um, this fight, Whittaker Chimaev, is of course very difficult to call. Would you agree with that, Pablo?
I would,
Or do
and
you
I would
think
say
what? Yeah.
the bet here, the safe bet is for Chimaev to land a takedown, and you would have to wait for the fighting props to come out with regards to this. Um, if you
Mm-hmm.
can get the over unders on takedowns, I go Chimaev for takedowns. In terms of picking a winner of this fight, very difficult. This would be like a
Yeah.
fight for props. You can make decent money on this fight when you pick props, like amount of
Mm,
punches landed, takedowns, for the fight to go past like 2 rounds, things like that. But
mm.
in terms of picking up on the popular markets, like ish, this
Yeah.
falls into that same Dan Ige
Mm,
realm
mm,
where you like, do I have the money to lose?
mm, mm. So yeah, it is a 5 round fight, bro, and I do agree with what you're saying about the props here. So in terms of the distance of this fight, um, what are your thoughts? How many rounds, or are you kind of thinking that it's gonna go the distance? Where are you in terms of that, bro?
I think if either fighter gets uh, a victory out of this fight, I think it would go past round two. So
Mm,
I don't know if it will go the distance. I also don't think Chimaev would finish Whittaker, because Whittaker is um quite a durable guy.
he's
But
only
then
been
again,
finished once, yeah, by Adesanya,
yeah,
and now by Dricus recently, of course. But
Dirkus and
yeah.
yeah, that's two top caliber fighters. Does Chimaev fall in that same bracket? I'm not
Mm.
quite sure. I'm not sold on him. But please take this with a pinch of salt, ladies and gentlemen, because I have been watching Whittaker for a while, and I do have like a small piece of bias into the fight.
Yeah, appreciate that, bro. And yeah, that kind of brings me to my next point, which is Robert Whittaker is quite a big dog on the card, and I think the bookies have got it wrong here, bro. I don't think that we have enough data on Chimaev recently to make him such an odds-on favorite, and I think that Whittaker's been evolving through the time that Chimaev has been out. And he looks more dangerous than ever to me, bro. So I'm really surprised by the selection of the bookies here, but I think that of course plays into our favor, and I'm not complaining about it. So yeah, I look forward to getting paid off Robert Whittaker. I really think he's gonna get the job
Oh,
done against Khamzat, bro. Especially if he can, if it's 5 rounds, and it goes past like two and a half, 3 rounds. I think Whittaker's gonna start piecing him up, bro. Because he's been to those championship rounds and he's fought against the highest caliber of opponent. Um, so yeah, I do think Whittaker is going to get it done. And I do like that over 2.5 rounds. So I think I'm going to lock that in as well. Um,
I'd
okay.
I'd go with that. That seems like a safe bet.
Mm. Okay, so that's over 2.5 there. That brings us to the co-main event. And oh, that was the co-main event. And here we go to the main event. Um, so yeah, Babu in general, Holloway Tapuria. What are your thoughts here? Just off top in general, bro? What stands out for you? Yeah,
Um, off top, same thing that I have towards Whittaker. I have towards Max Holloway.
I think that's
I
most
didn't
people.
think
Yeah.
Hollywood would open. I thought Hollywood would open much closer um to the line. I,
Mm,
I didn't think they would give him this much room, but I do think a lot of sports a lot of sports books is giving the champion the respect because he did knock out Volk, and to knock out Volk was it seemed like an impossible task. Um, I think in terms of the UFC itself, I think like I don't know if Topuria gets it done. I personally believe the Blessed Express is back. We're living in the blessed era. Um, it, as a betting man, I'd risk and I'd put Max to win. But
mm,
please, ladies and gentlemen, don't follow
yeah.
me.
Okay, fair point. Tell me a bit more about that. How do you think he gets it done? How many rounds is he gonna win by KO? What are your thoughts there, bro?
Um, from the small bit of tape that I have watched on both fighters, I do think Topuria has like a big hole in his game in terms of kicks.
Mm,
There's a left high kick and there's a right high kick that Max loves to throw with a counter left that he normally follows up with. So if Topuria can withstand that, um, then I think the fight goes the distance, and I think the Blessed Express takes it on decision. Um,
mm,
I don't know the I don't know Topuria's metal because I haven't seen him in a dogfight. I know the Blessed Express metal because that's the only type of fights that he puts in. I don't see the Blessed Express going down. I don't see him taking a step back, and I don't think
yeah.
Topuria has the boxing caliber to really battle him on that. And
Mm.
but I am really being biased here. But I think Max by decision is
Mm.
the route I'll take.
All right, fair. I must say, from what I've heard from like other pundits and stuff, they all seem to think that Ilya is the man that's gonna get it done. But yeah, personally, but I also feel well. Look, I like yourself. I'm a big Max Holloway fan. I think most UFC fans are. It's difficult to hate the guy. So I think I'm wanting him to win, but I'm scared. Like I'm a little scared for Max, but I think this could potentially end in very brutal fashion for him, and it might be. his last fight, depending on how it goes. Like he's at that age now, you know. Um, so yeah, I don't know, bro. Like I'm very like you, emotionally invested in the fight, so I'm kind of leaning more towards props here. And I would ideally like to say more than 2.5, but they're not offering, so 3.5 here. So I think I'm just gonna go out with that. That's not really that great, 3.43, but okay. Um, we'll lock that in. So that's kind of like sure things. Just before we lock that in, is there anything else? Any other fighters here? Any other props you want to talk about that you think are like quite certain?
In terms of surefire, when I look at the card, uh, Jeff Neal, Rafael Dos Anjos, which
Uh,
is like low, which is the card opener. If
Prelims.
I'm not mistaken. Is it the prelims?
I think it's the main bout on the prelims. Yeah. Let me just double check
Oh,
that for you. Yeah.
oh,
Magomedov is the opening fight on the main card.
okay, okay, okay. I do like that fight. The show pick on that is, or I would think the show thing would be either one getting submitted, so the fight ending in a submission because
Sheesh.
Rafael does tend to have like a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So Jeff Neal also can take you to the ground, and he does have long limbs, and he can throw up anything. That's what
Hmm.
I would think. I don't think either fighter will get it done, but I think if you're willing to take that small risk, it is there for you.
So, what do you think the fight definitely doesn't go the distance?
Uh what's the
Or
odds? Will the fight go both fighters are a bit old.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking it will. They're gonna run out of gas, and it's just gonna be like two uncles, you know.
You know what? In terms of probability, like 95% chance the fight goes the distance. And if you if you're placing parlays, a 1.72 added to your parlay bet,
It's nice,
that's
yeah.
how put it.
Does yeah. Okay, so I think that's what we're gonna go for here. That one to go the distance. I think that should take us to five. Yeah, 5.91. Okay, so we're gonna lock that in for 20 buck big spender. Okay, let's lock that one in. Okay. All right. So the others, I'm just gonna get to my picks very quickly. I like that you mentioned Dan Ige by KO. So gonna lock that in as part of a two-legger. So we're gonna go Dan Ige by KO, no? And then
Yes, sir.
I'm also gonna go to Chris Barnett here. All right. Um, since we all kind of like being a bit degenerate here with this Dan Ige by KO, I'm gonna go with Chris Barnett to get it done as well. Total odds of 54. Only put like a $5 down on that.
As we should. As we should.
Yeah. Just a flutter there. And then finally the main parlay pick for me. So there's two. I'm gonna sprinkle a bit here. I'm gonna go Ankalaev, Whittaker, Holloway,
Oof.
and I'm gonna go that for 20 buck. And then I'm gonna change my winner of the main event at Tapuria. Same.
Oof, age.
I'm gonna edge it a bit, yeah. And then we go 20 buck there as well. And that's pretty much it for me as far as this card goes. Um, anything else from your side, bro?
Nah, I think we seeing money this weekend.
Hope
The
so, bro.
Peter net,
Uh, yeah,
we're gonna for us.
let's hope so, bro. Let's hope so. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comments what your parlay picks are for this weekend. We'll be very interested to see those. Of course, we are flexible with our picks. So if we see something we like, we might jump into one of those with you. As always, if you like the video, please like the video. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe and all those good things. Share the video, all those nice things. We are well on our way to, I think it's like 700 subscribers, right? Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again. Just a reminder: the fights are taking place on Sunday morning. Well, actually, it's a nice time for us this time, right? It's Abu Dhabi, so it's Freedom starts at 4 p.m. Main card starts at 8. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the fights. Brother Babu, give thanks. Your expertise, as always, is really appreciated here at the CPS reports. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thanks once again. We look forward to bringing you the recap in the near future. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Goodbye.